and therefore my daughter needs a thigh-holstered K-bar to walk around the corners speech. He liked to spice it up with stories cherry-picked from his missions, although I was fairly certain he tossed in plotlines from spy novels and war movies. I also believed at least half of what he said, although it was more than likely the spy novel half. Yes, Dad. Please remember I'm 28 and I've lived in the city for—
None of that matters. Predators strike the moment you drop your guard, he said. Think about a Krav Maga refresher course. You need to keep those skills sharp. You never know what's lurking when you least expect it.
Bill, stop with the dramatics. What's new with you, sweetheart? Mom asked. We're having a party for Steph and Amanda this weekend, before they leave town. I've been busy finding a building and meeting with an architect to get it ready for kids. I have meetings lined up for tomorrow with donors interested in funding some of the classroom research we'll be conducting.
Be yourself, Lolo. They'd be fools not to donate,
Dad said. I know, Dad, but sometimes it's a little more complicated than being friendly.
You tell me if you want me to make some calls, he continued. I have a lot of buddies from the service who want to see kids off the streets and getting a decent education. We've seen plenty of soldiers who could have used a teacher like you to set them straight.
Thanks, Dad. I don't want any favors, though.
Not a favor, Lauren. That's how it's done. It's all about who you know and calling in the right contacts at the right time.
Bill, let me talk to my Lolo. Go play with your new binoculars, Mom said. The speakerphone connection clicked off. He's outside now, probably being a weirdo and spying on the other campers. Is everything okay? Yeah, Mom. Everything's fine. Are you sure? You sound a little ruffled, Lolo, a little off. It must be rough on you with Stephanie and Amanda moving away. My oldest friends, Amanda and Steph, were my home away from home. The sisters I never had, the bitches in my back pocket. We roomed together in college, then moved to Boston over 6 years ago, where we shared the darkest, dampest subterranean apartment in town. It earned every ounce of its nickname, the Dungeon. Over the years, we celebrated successes big and small, and endured heartaches in careers and friendships and relationships. We grew up together, the growing up you did when it was time to figure out life. And now, we were growing apart. Amanda was engaged, pregnant, and moving with her fiancé, Phil. We always knew Phil's job as lobbyist for a consortium of cutting-edge pharmaceutical firms took priority in their relationship, and that his work would eventually take him and Amanda to Washington, D.C. Expecting it to happen didn't mean it wasn't leaving a cannonball-sized hole in me. We also knew Steph and her husband Dan intended to return home to Chicago when they started a family, and I was surprised they stayed so long after Madison's birth. Steph's pregnancy was difficult, her labor was complicated, and baby Madison struggled with reflux and colic and ear infections right from the start. We pitched in to provide Steph with meals, help around the house, and babysitting, but Steph and Dan needed their big families back in Chicago, and I wanted them to have that. But like I said, cannonballs. And if I was being honest with myself, we'd been growing apart by feet and inches since moving out of the dungeon. Marriage, careers, babies. These things changed us, and our relationships with each other were evolving, too. It wasn't bad. It was just different. No, it's not that, I said. I mean, yes, it's going to be tough, but life is taking them on some new adventures. It's what they need to do, and I shouldn't be sad about that. Sounds like a new project would be good for you. Something to mix up your routine. You need a man in your life. Men are great distractions. I laughed at my mother's suggestive tone, but couldn't ignore the image of Matt Walsh and his broad shoulders. Or that chest. Give me some dirty laundry and a shirtless Matt, and I'd happily spend my day testing out those washboard abs. My mother would love his dark, wavy hair and blue eyes, and she'd make plenty of naughty comments about his lean body. He'd meet her criteria for beefcake status. I used to turn 7 shades of red when she'd thumb through People magazine, telling my friends she thought Brad Pitt and George Clooney were hunky, and that she wouldn't mind a weekend alone with either, or both. I didn't understand the part about both until my 20s, and for everyone involved, that was probably best. I'll keep that in mind, I murmured. I do have a bunch of travel for conferences over the next few weeks, so I'll be busy, and finally—